Hello everyone, and today I'll be reading a Blade Listener by me. So let's get into it. Blade is not often someone that you could call affectionate. Actually, he's not someone that would be called affectionate by anyone, because he never shows his emotions. And with that extreme, cold exterior, nobody ever assumes that he could be an affectionate type. At all. And to be quite honest, you were worried about that when you first met. But through your relationship, you discovered that what is often on the surface is very different from what is beneath. And that was the case with him, and it was a very pleasant one. You learned a lot from then, and you were happy with it. To know who truly, that didn't mean that he would be affectionate with you, especially publicly. But he was very different from what he seemed to be. But right now, as you sat away in a room, since he was meeting Kafka, well, you were wondering just what you could get away with. There were a lot of things you wanted to do, a lot of things you wanted to try, especially since he has been away for a while now. And you miss him. You truly do. You miss him dearly. You want him with you. And sometimes you think about him day and night to a degree that's impossible. You have no idea how he has this hold on your heart, but he's told you the same about you. So maybe you're just made to be like that. Not that it's bad at all. In fact, you think he quite enjoys this attention you give him. He has never had this storm of love before, and he's been honest about it. And you're more than willing to give him everything you've got, just to make sure he gets love in all its forms, and in every way he's supposed to. He should enjoy it, and he should experience it fully. And now as you looked at him, sitting away from you, impatiently waiting for Kafka to show up, so the two of you could finally go, you felt a little bit bored. You were impatient too. You wanted to go home, or anywhere where the two of you could just be. So you scooted closer and held his palm, rattling it in your hand. What are you doing? Nothing. You're just waiting, aren't you? I had a feeling you were bored. Let me hold your hand at least. Kafka won't see us. Okay, I suppose so. You can do that, but be careful. She shows up out of nowhere all the time. I know. Don't worry. It's just you and me right now. Okay, Bladey? He just chuckles at the nickname. He would never let anyone call him that. But here you were, doing it with ease. You've got that nickname from Kafka, actually. And it always pissed him off when it was her. But the two of you had a different relationship. When it came from her, it was just teasing. And he knew you were teasing too, but something about the way you did it was just a little bit different, more tolerable, and more fun. Maybe he was biased, but even so, it wasn't anything bad at all, if you were involved. That's why he let you hold his hand, looking at you, and a face so unfamiliar to everyone else. They wouldn't believe it actually belonged to him. He had that much love in him, and yet, you were the only one to ever see it, and you felt extremely special. And that was because you were. To him, you were someone different from everyone else. You held a space in his heart that nobody could dare to fill. And now, as you took his hand in your own, you began to be a little bit bolder, twirling soft kisses on it, and he blushed. He does not usually do that, but he's feeling just a little bit nervous. You shouldn't do this. Kafka could be here at any time, and he was not sure if that would be a safe outcome that he would approve of. He didn't want her to see anything. It would be embarrassing, and he would never want to live through that. But he was also tempted. He was not above temptation. and you were very tempting. And right now, as you looked at him with your beautiful eyes and your lips against his palm, you couldn't help but want for more. And so, he pulls you closer. He makes sure there are no footsteps around and clips your face in his hands, kissing you and soon deepening it. The two of you could afford to get lost in your own little world. Kafka was going to take her time, and nobody was to see this at all. Just the two of you, away from everyone and everything. The feeling of your lips on his own. The feeling of you against him and your warmth. Your hands tangling in his hair, pulling him ever closer, as he felt like nothing in the world mattered besides you. And he didn't hear the footsteps, or the door opening so quietly, or Kafka's little chuckle, until she cleared her throat, and immediately he was pulled back into the real world again, and looking at her, confused and shocked, with a bright blush on his cheeks that he didn't even notice. Oh, don't worry about it, lady. We know a lot about each other. There is nothing to worry about, is there? She chuckled, tossing him something that he's been waiting to get from her, and leaving, just like that. He didn't know what she would say after this. He hoped that she wouldn't tell anyone, but he was already embarrassed enough. A part of him was glad that she left, and another part was anxious, because he knows she will never let this go. So for the rest of the day, he's had this pout on his face, just from the embarrassment that he's felt. So try your best to comfort him. He can be a little bit difficult at times, and just squeeze his hand while you can. And once you get home, he knows he does not regret this, and he would certainly do it again. He loves you. He just gets embarrassed about being vulnerable and showing his true self in front of others, like this. But he hopes that for once, Kafka could keep the secret, and he also hopes she never brings it up again, because if she does, well, it's going to haunt him forever.